request, view request. Got some other people requesting. I'm saying no to that. Ladies and gentlemen, the beautiful. Where are you at, Mel? Where are you at, Mel? Oh my goodness.
Hi. Hi.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's so good to see you.
So good to see you too. Are you like, is this amazing? Like this week, you're crushing it with this book launch.
Well, yeah, it's I always have wanted to you've seen this with your work because you empower so many people through the process of physical transformation, right? And you and Dave have this amazing 60-day challenge going on, which I am just loving following along. And so I think that with like physical stuff, whether you're doing the 60-day transformation with you guys or 75 hard or whole 30 or all this stuff outside of us,
Yeah.
you can easily see those movements spreading. It's very hard to get an inside revolution and transformation to spread around in a very visual way. And so I am just blown away by the number of people who are starting to high five themselves in the mirror and posting photos from around the world of all ages, religions, shapes, sizes, backgrounds, ethnicities, culture, like with their kids. And so I am so thrilled. And then you experience in this work too, because when you start to take control of your health, you have all these breakthroughs around how long you've let yourself go.
Yep.
And at a very, very real level, the high five habit of simply being with yourself and high fiving your reflection is making people realize at a very profound level for how long you have not been supporting yourself. And so I am just absolutely thrilled that so many people are bumping into this, are trying it, and are having life-changing realizations and revelations. And I think it is absolutely something, just like a physical transformation with getting your health in order, getting your relationship mentally with yourself in order is a just extraordinary thing to behold.
Yeah, I mean, I believe, and I always tell the people that I work with, the most important person in the world, the most important person in your world is you. Like the most important person in my world must be me. And if I'm not making it me, I'm going to live a miserable existence. And I only have one life that I know of. And Mel, that's what I love so much. I love seeing you with such a simple thing, a high five to yourself, right? It's so simple. I love seeing people posting. I've seen more people posting a high five over the past week than I ever thought I would see in my entire life. But it's a high five to themselves. It's giving themselves to themselves the way that they would speak to and give to anyone that they highly respect. And it's so great to see. And I love how much you promote and encourage people to live their best life and love themselves. And truly, like this book, seeing the numbers, seeing your book go up over the last week. Well, what was the actual launch date? 27th? Was it, what was the date?
The 28th, Tuesday, the 28th.
28th. It skyrocketed. And these are the kinds of books that should, because it doesn't matter how well you do business. It doesn't matter how well you parent. It doesn't matter how well you do anything if you don't have a healthy relationship with the most important person in your world. I'm so curious, like, how did you come up with such a simple thing? Like like, I've heard the story, but I want my people to hear the story. I love it.
Well, I was just, I'll spare everybody the saga, but I was just having kind of a very relatable experience where I woke up one morning, April of 2020, and I was just overwhelmed by my life. I woke up feeling defeated and overwhelmed and exhausted and sad. And I dragged myself out of bed and I walked into the bathroom and I was standing there in my underwear. And I caught my reflection in the mirror and I thought, oh my God, you look like hell. And then the beat down started, like I literally was like the dark circles, the gray hair, the one boob lower than the other. And then once you start criticizing yourself, your whole mindset goes negative. And I then start thinking, I got up too late. And why didn't you text Heidi back? And you got 8 minutes. That's not enough time to get on the Zoom and da 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 da. And I could just feel myself going lower and lower and lower. And the truth is, if you had walked in the bathroom in that moment and told me I'm going through a really hard time, Mel, I would have been able to spin on a dime and pick you up and lift you up and encourage you and send you out of that bathroom feeling like you could handle what was ever going on.
Yep.
But for whatever reason, that morning, standing there in my underwear, feeling like life was punching me in the face, I just couldn't think of anything to say. And the truth is, I don't think I would have believed it because it didn't match how I was feeling. And so I don't know what happened. I actually think it was divine intervention. I really do. I think at that moment, God, the universe was like, all right, she's ready. Hit it with her now. I just found myself, as cheesy as it sounds, raising my hand to my tired reflection. And I did it because I think I knew the woman in the mirror needed it. And the truth is, lightning didn't strike the first time. Like, it wasn't like, the heavens opened and, oh, the angels sang. That's not what happened.
Yeah.
But I did feel this shift, Heidi. I felt this shift, like, it wasn't even like I thought anything. I just felt this energy that was sort of like Heidi Powell kicking my ass, going, come on now, like, you can do this. Come on, it's not that bad. You got it way better than some people. Fucking pick yourself, like, just like, like that kind of. But so I felt it and I left the bathroom. But now I gotta unpack this next part for you because this is where it gets deep. Whoa. I woke up, same overwhelmed, same just discouragement, defeated, heaviness. And I'm walking to the bathroom, and as I'm about to turn the corner and step into the bathroom, Heidi, I realize, oh my God, I'm feeling something I've never felt before as an adult. And this is what it was. You know how when you're about to walk into a cafe and you're going to see somebody that you really like, what do you feel?
Excitement. You feel excitement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a little bit of butterfly. And like,
yeah.
And you.
I felt that way about the idea of seeing myself.
How beautiful is that? For the first time, you're actually looking forward to seeing you, to the encouraging words you're going to tell yourself. When I was reading you up, I've heard your story and I love it. I haven't heard all these details when you told us, but I actually was reading inside your book, and I like that part about the excitement and the anticipation. And you talk about, there's a section where you talk about, we all have these amazing hype squads, but it doesn't really matter if we can't be the hype squad for ourselves. Like, what if we could be the ones to tell ourselves the words that we need to hear? And truly, nobody knows what we need to hear. Nobody knows what I need to hear more than I know what I need to hear. So why am I relying on somebody else reading my mind to give me the affirmation that I need when I can speak it to myself? I've actually had one really powerful experience with speaking to myself.
Tell me.
But there was one in particular not too long ago. So it was my first really big Zoom. I mean, I had thousands of people sign up for this thing, and I knew Zoom could only hold 1,000. And it was like a last minute thing within the last year. And I remember I'm like, I don't do these. I've never done something like this. I'm going to do it. And I mean, the nerves, the anticipation, the fear, all of the things were overwhelming to me. Like, I was shaking. I knew what I was about to deliver, right? Logically I knew, but I doubted my ability. I doubted my worthiness to be the person to deliver it. I don't know why. I actually had a moment with myself in the mirror. First time I've ever, because I've heard about it. I walked out into my garage where I have a big stand-up mirror. And actually some people on the Zoom right now were on this, and I told them the story. I walked out in the garage and I looked at myself in the mirror, dead square in the eyes, and said, you are Heidi freaking Powell. You are worthy. You are not. You are the one to deliver this information. And like that, I felt crazy doing it. But what it did to me, like me giving myself, being my own hype squad, which is what you were saying, for the first time, like me telling myself what I needed to hear, it was so beautiful and so powerful, and made me realize that there's nobody that should be able to love me more than I love myself. And that was a moment for me where I had a massive internal shift. It changed. I was, still in the middle of a divorce and going through all these things. It shifted my reality. And so when I heard, you told me about the book, I read pages from it. Like, this concept is so beautiful, because most people, if not all of us at some time or another.
I think all. Yeah,
And
totally.
that is why
Totally.
do you think many of us struggle?
Oh, well, I think it's life. I mean, I think what happens is you're born, everybody, and you are born with celebration and confidence and self-empowerment just wired into your DNA. You never see a child crawl up to a mirror and go back and say, oh my God, my thighs are fat. No, like every child sees the sight of themselves and are drawn toward themselves. They kiss the mirror, they twirl, they raise their hands, they love the sight of themselves. I think that it can happen a number of ways. Basically, I think the one that everybody can relate to is that there's a moment in elementary school where you walk into a cafeteria and you all of a sudden scan around for where you're going to sit, and your brain turns into that sorting hat from Harry Potter. And you start to see the world in places that you belong and places that you don't. And then your own mind flips. And instead of just wandering toward what you're drawn to or you want, your own mind goes into this mode. And I think it's to protect you, but it goes into this mode of going, not with those kids. You don't look like those kids. You're not a sports kid like that. You don't have the clothes that those people do. And you start to literally reject who you are as part of your monologue. And one of the things that I realized in that moment, when I thought, holy cow, I'm actually feeling excited about seeing myself, the human being, is that I felt excited to see an outfit or a haircut, but I've never experienced as an adult that feeling of being excited to see the human being, Mel Robbins.
Yeah.
And so I get into the bathroom that second morning, Heidi, and this is when it really hit me. As I'm standing there brushing my teeth, I realized, oh my God, there are two human beings in the bathroom. There's you, and there's a human being in the mirror. And that human being in the mirror, she's trying. She needs you. She needs you to stop criticizing her and picking her apart. She's doing the best she can. She needs you to see her and to encourage her and to love her and to support her. And so I put the toothbrush down and I literally look at the woman in the mirror, and I realized, oh my gosh, like it's like a moment where you're really present with your spirit or your soul, like the essence of you.
Yeah.
And I asked myself this question that I'd never asked before, which is, well, what does she need from me today?
Yeah.
And, some days it's like, you need to have some fucking fun today because like this has been too heavy. And some days it's like, you need to be kinder to me. Or some days it's like, you need to like remind yourself that you are Heidi Powell. Like, you need to like do something because I need you. Like, yeah. And so then when you go and you seal the high five, and this is where it gets super cool. Oh my gosh, everybody. This is why this is so groundbreaking. I literally just got off of Adam Carolla's show. Okay. Now, we all know how sarcastic he is. We all know that it's not like, this is not the kind of thing that he would immediately be tuned to. At the end of, he's like, I cannot believe the science. I cannot believe that everybody does not do this. I don't do this, that, and the other thing, but this is 5 lousy seconds. Like, everybody should do this. And here's why. when you go to raise your hand, okay, so Heidi, whenever you have high five somebody in like your challenge, right? You're high fiving somebody in their challenge or all the work that you've done with human beings to transform them. What are you saying as somebody's coach when you high five them?
I'm saying, great job. Like, you are a badass. Great job. You did it. That's what I'm saying. I'm telling them
Yeah.
how amazing they are and what, making sure they know what they just accomplished, infusing them with the light that they should feel.
And what about when you see somebody on the treadmill and they're like tanking and their attitude and they like start the sob story? When you high five them, then what are you saying?
I'm telling, hey, you can do this. I'm telling them they can do this. You have what it takes. I can see in you what you can't see in you yet. Come on, you got
Yes.
this.
Yes. So here's the coolest part. All of that programming is already in your subconscious brain. And it is married to the act of a high five. And your brain doesn't know the difference between high fiving somebody else or high fiving your own reflection. And so when you first do this for the first 5 days, I don't want you to say a thing. I want you to actually just do this and not say anything because I want the programming that's already in your mind to work for you. You have never in your entire life high fived somebody and then thought, I hate you. You're a failure. I hope you lose.
No
Yeah,
negativity associated with that. None.
no negativity. And so you can stand in front of the mirror and go, I'm a failure. I suck. I'm not good enough. And you could be feeling and thinking those things. And you could start to raise your hand and go, this is stupid or weird. But the second you kind of extend it, your mind's going to go quiet because your brain recognizes the high five. So it grabs all the programming and shoves it right at your face.
I
This
love.
is why it's groundbreaking.
I.
And then
I it's insane. It's crazy. How did you figure this out? I mean, what type of how this research for you to figure these things out? I love that about you and all the things that you do. I was watching 2 different interviews where you talked about putting your hand on your heart. I mean, the connection with your hand and your heart, just your hand in general. Can you explain that to us? It's amazing.
I can. So what you're talking about is, and by the way, everybody, you only need to do this for 5 days and you're going to like the first time you do it, you will feel something.
Yeah.
But when you start to do it for 5 days, you're going to like literally, it's going to just rocket down to the core of you. And you're going to see that Heidi has pinned a link in this because Heidi and I want to support you. We are partnering on this incredible 5-day challenge that is free. It's free. It's hosted by the world's best personal development app. Normally you'd have to pay to be in the app. We have arranged, Heidi and I have arranged for you to have the app for free for the 5 days of this challenge. There's already 25,000 people in the challenge right now. It hasn't even started. 2,000 people registered in the last hour. They're uploading photos. They're starting to cheer for themselves. Heidi and I are going to rocket you so high that you're going to need a parachute to come down after you do this challenge. And it starts on Monday. And so that link right there is Heidi's hookup to get you into this challenge. We got a spot for you. You need a first name, an email address, and then just get your login and you're in. And
No
we kick
credit.
off Monday. So here's the thing what's that?
If people want to buy your book, can they do it? I mean, how do they buy your book? Anywhere, right?
Whatever. You can buy it anywhere. Don't even worry about the book at this point. Get yourself into the challenge. And here's the other thing. If you can't afford the book, it's okay. Heidi and I, we got you covered. The challenge is free. We're going to support you for 5 days. And on top of it, if you can't afford the book, everybody check this out. I am reading it to you for free. So every day I'm going on social media and I'm spending a half an hour. I can get through about 5 pages because I go deeper and I'm coaching people, but I'm going to read this thing cover to cover until we are done every day on social media because I'm so committed that you have this information, whether you can afford to buy the book or not. Okay. And so that's happening on Facebook, Instagram. We're going to bring LinkedIn on Monday, but we are only on page 9. That's how slow I'm going. And I've been doing it for 2 days. So,
okay. So hand on the heart, the Vegas
hand on the heart. Yeah. So the vagus nerve, you're going to press in, hands on the heart. We're going to press on the vagus nerve. Everybody do this with me and Heidi. First of all, let's take a deep breath. Blow it out. And then you're going to say these 3 sentences. Repeat them after me. I'm okay.
I'm okay.
I'm safe.
I am safe.
I'm loved.
I'm loved.
And you might need to repeat that 71 times. But what happens is you're going to feel yourself. What did you feel, Heidi, as you started to do that?
My heart is like pounding. There's a flood of emotion that just came from me. And everybody needs to try. I had watched your video. I'd never tried it until just now. It is insane. You can feel it.
Yeah.
Physiologically.
Yeah, you can. And the I'm safe. Don't be alarmed if you get really emotional when you say I'm safe. And the reason why everybody's getting so emotional when they high five their heart, and this is science, we're basically helping you use the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve is a treasure in your body. Heidi talks about it too. It's an on-off switch, and it switches off your stressed out, dysregulated fight or flight, anxiety, overwhelmed nervous system. And it flips on your calm, cool, resting, grounded nervous system. So this is a little science hack, high-fiving your heart. You can use it anytime you want. I use it every morning when I wake up to make sure I start my day grounded in my body and feeling calm and cool and connected to myself and in a calm, resting nervous system. And, we go into all the benefits of that and why that's so important. So if you find that you're snapping at your kids a lot, if you find that you're drinking too much, if you find that you're overly emotional, if you find that your focus is gone by 1 o'clock, you feel like by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I feel like I've taken 3
Yeah.
SAT exams. I just can't focus. The reason why this is happening to you is because the sustained level of uncertainty that we've all been living with has kept your fight or flight nervous system in the on mode for almost 18 months. And so we need, and you need to start to flip it off every morning so that you can get your what's called parasympathetic nervous system, your resting nervous system, your calm, grounded nervous system to be the default. Okay. And so you can also use it throughout your day because, you might be in the grocery store and somebody kind of cuts you off and you have this surge run through your body. Just put your hands right here. Take a deep breath. Say those things to yourself. Because if you can hear yourself saying, I'm okay, I'm safe, I'm loved, it's actually true in that moment.
And I can't help but think about what this would do for, I'll get emotional about my kids.
Yes.
Have experienced divorce and they're in the middle of the chaos that we all live into. And I understand that my chaos becomes their chaos because I am what they are around and they're absorbing that energy. And so to have what an amazing tool for yourself. And when your
Yeah.
kids want to mimic you, and if you can teach your kids to know that they are safe and they are loved and they are okay. I mean, that's what the little girl inside of me wants, and that's what my little kids want. It's so beautiful.
Totally. And yeah, and the other thing that's really great that you, and I love that you're bringing this up, Heidi, because we can pump our kids up all we want, but when they go online or they're off at school or they're on their sports teams or they're in the household that they're kind of splitting in between, you're not there with them. And so the high five habit, the high five in your heart, the simple things that you're going to learn in this book are tools that anybody of any age can use, so that if you have something horrible happen at school, somebody says something horrible, your friends don't let you sit with them,
Yeah.
and you're in the girls' bathroom,
Yeah.
you can send yourself back into that hallway with a little high five to pick yourself back up and know that you like you. So even
Yeah.
though it hurts that they don't, it doesn't change the fact that you still like you.
Yeah. Yeah, as a mom, it's interesting because the most painful things for me to experience are the thoughts of my kids being rejected and my kids
Mm-hmm.
not loved and feeling enough and feeling like they belong. It's really hard. And at the same time, I know that those are the things that are going to make them who they're becoming and who they become, right? So I love it. I love it, especially because they have a tool like this. I'm actually going to have my 2 teens do this with me. So October 4th through the 8th, myself, Maddox, and Marley are
Yes.
all. You had told the most beautiful story about your son.
Oh,
And, oh, when we were in Napa and you were doing that interview with Dave, and it was a story about you uh, accept instead of picking
was
your
it
son
the
up.
blue hair?
Yes, and I love that story. Like, because I have an oldest son, and he's different than dresses different, and it's so beautiful. And I what the
Thank
more
God, right?
oh yeah, I love it. But I
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's true. And I also see somebody say it's not just your little kids, it's your high school kids and your college kids. Absolutely. Your college kids
your
and your high
marriage,
school kids 1,000% need, I'm okay, I'm safe, I'm loved. They 1,000% need the high five. I was talking with my daughter and the text chain is on this, but so I can't read it to you, but she was so cute. She texted me and said, do I, I'm a little confused. Do I need to say anything? Because there's some days that I stand and I go to high five myself, and my first thought is, well, you're not as pretty as the other girls. And, who hasn't felt that at some point? And I'm like, yeah, you don't need to say anything. You can think that, but the second that you high five yourself, your brain does the positive reprogramming for you. And then she said, but what if I haven't done anything? What if I didn't get to the gym like I said I would? Do I still high five myself? And I said, absolutely. Of course.
yep,
You high five yourself for breathing, for standing there. And then she's like, wait, you mean my mere existence deserves a high five?
yeah,
And I'm like, yeah. If you can drag yourself to the bathroom and you're still breathing and you still are trying to do a little bit better today, you not only deserve the high five, you need it
yeah,
in order to feel encouraged to take the actions that really support and empower you. And
yeah.
so, it's so important. And I'll tell you this story. Even though this is a story that probably, has cost me 3 years of therapy myself, and God knows how many therapy conversations with my son. But when our son, and the other thing that's interesting is that, the gift of having a kid that's not like you is it teaches you, in my opinion, the purpose of parenting, which is not to make them be mini versions of us. And I know you feel the same way, and so does Dave. It's to help them figure out who they are.
Yeah, and
And
be whoever they are.
yeah, and
Mhm.
it's not easy. It's not easy because, I remember we had daughters that were really into sports, and my husband and I were really into sports. And there's nothing cooler than being a parent and having your kid on a team and watching them and cheering for them. And there's nothing cooler than having a theater kid that's on a stage or part of and cheering for them. And so
Yep.
there's and part of it is cheering for them, and part of it is like, yeah, look at me, I created that. Okay, yeah. Like, and so, with our son, other than he liked community theater, so that was something, but he no sports at all. And my husband is big into sports. And so it was hard for Chris because Chris didn't do video games. I was a big gamer growing up. I was like the Atari head. I loved video games. And so Chris like couldn't get it with Oak. And plus Oak loved Ninja. And so he dyed the ends of his hair blue. And we all thought it was like the coolest thing, right? And so in 6th and 7th grade, he's dyeing his hair. He's going to the school for kids that have dyslexia because we figured out that he has dyslexia. So he's left the public school. He's in the school with kids for dyslexia. He's got his blue hair. He's a gamer. He does no sports. Amazing kid. And then we realized the school's ending. So we need to find another school. So we end up finding this great independent school, very, very small. And they could help with the dyslexia. And it was a perfect fit for how he learned. But literally, there were only 18 kids in his grade.
Okay.
And as school near, and plus he was going to have to repeat 7th grade.
Oh wow.
So, because they have a specialized program, they don't allow kids to enter in the 8th grade. So the whole story. So he's all angry about that. And then I start going, do you want to cut your hair? And he's like, what do you mean? I said, well, it's a new school year. You want to cut the tips off your hair? And now in my mind, I loved the blue hair, but I was thinking,
How
are these
can
other kids going to accept him?
yes. Yep. How
Yeah,
can you chance it being accepted? Yeah.
correct.
Which
And
we
I was
do as
coming,
moms. We don't want
of
them to feel
course. Yeah. And plus, he had just been bullied at this camp. And so I was coming from this place of, I want to set you up to have the best runway you could possibly have. And so I started suggesting, hey, you want to get a haircut? Hey, you want to cut off the tips? Hey, what do you think about a new hairstyle? And then his older sisters piled on. Dude, you know, it's not like you're a star lacrosse player. I don't know if I were you, I wouldn't go rolling in there with the blue hair. You know, it's hard, you know, like that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
literally, he came to me about a week before school started and said, you know, we can cut my hair. We can cut my hair. So he cuts the hair off. He cuts the blue tips off. You know, I'm embarrassed by this story, but I learned so much from this. And it was this. I realize now, looking back, what I was communicating to him is a message that we all get in various ways, either very much in our face or kind of subtly, which is, I will like you if you are the version of you that I like. I will love you if you do what I tell you. And that's also how we all start to learn that it's better to be liked or to make mom happy than to be myself. It's less of a hassle to actually cut my hair than to be myself and endure this stuff for my sisters. And what I was also saying to him is, I don't think you could handle it if other people criticized you. So it's better not to be you. And when I really unpack this, I, you know, first of all, feel terrible as a mom. But secondly, I can really see how we can all get this same messaging that, oh, if you don't like me, there's something wrong with me. Oh, if I change myself, if I reject parts of me, then it'll make things easier. And we've been doing it our whole lives. And it comes back to this moment in the mirror where you don't even see a human being. You see the stuff you need to fix. Or even scarier and sadder, you are so disgusted or upset or rejecting of self that you won't even look at yourself. And I'm sure you ran into this all the time in the work that you do. Can you explain how common that is? Because when I tell people 50% of men and women won't even look at themselves in the mirror, like don't like how they look, are disgusted by how they look. This is true.
I would actually argue that it's even higher than 50%. In fact,
Wow.
one of the I always do with people when we have a big weekend, it's such a big deal for us to do this photo shoot component, because the people that I've worked with and just people in general are terrified of not only how they look on camera, but also how they look in the mirror, right? We can look at anybody else and pick out the beautiful qualities and say, oh my gosh, her hair, her skin, her teeth, her body, she's so beautiful, her soul. And what's interesting, and I tell people all the time, is the people that we're looking at and we're judging positively, we're envying, right? We're envious for, they're saying the same thing about us. They're looking at us saying, oh my gosh, the way that she does this, I wish I could do it like this. I wish. We're so in our own worlds that we end up not even experiencing life because we're so absorbed with what we think everybody else is saying about us. And we are so terrified of that image in the mirror where that's why I love this high five habit. We are forcing, and I say we because I'm doing this with you, you're forcing people to face their biggest critic and also their biggest cheerleader. Like you are going to have a moment every single day where you get to recognize that you are both. You are the light, you are the dark, you are the good, you are the bad, you are whatever.
Ooh.
Yes, and because you can become whatever you want, and you don't know that until you have that moment with yourself in the mirror. Even I can look at myself in the mirror and do makeup, right? But the second I stop and I like look into my eyes, it is a scary and miraculous moment. Because you can see through, you can see into your soul, you can see your power. And I love that people are going to get to experience this, and they're going to get to reframe how they see themselves.
Right.
Really how you talk to yourself, right? It's like I tell people all the time, the words you say to yourself They need to be words that would be worthy and fit for you to say to your kids, to a king, to a queen, to whoever, because you are worthy. You are. So Mel,
No, it's so true.
I'm so happy to be a part of it. And I hope everybody on here goes and joins that challenge. I hope you all get the book. But if you don't, I hope you go listen to Mel every single day, read the book. I love that you're doing that. That's so generous. I've never heard of anybody doing that. But I know how much change can happen in 5 days. And I know this high five challenge is literally going to create a massive ripple in the world. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. I'm happy for all of us. And, you said something that I just wanted to kind of echo about we are the light and we're the darkness. And I think every morning that you stand before yourself and you raise your hand to your own reflection, it's an act of defiance against all of the stuff that's been done to you and all of the things that you regret. And it is an act of forgiveness for all of the things that you're still punishing you for. And it's an act of resetting your mind and allowing yourself to pivot toward what comes next, knowing that no matter what, you're going to be okay and you're going to have your own back.
I have chills. I have chills. Mel, thank you so much for spending time on here. To everybody, I see you commenting that you joined the challenge. You will not regret it. Get your kids to do it. I see people saying my students should do it. Everybody should do it. So get everybody.
Yes. Heidi's link is right there.
Yes.
Heidi's link is right there. How does it help suicidal thoughts? I'll tell you, it's an act of defiance. It literally is. You can stand there and have a very low thought. And the second you raise your hand, this part of your brain goes, oh, no, 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 no. This human being is a person that we support. Oh, no, 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 no. This human being is going to be okay. Oh, this is going to pass because I'm going to get through this because I believe in the person. You do this every single morning. You find a mirror if you start to go low and you keep high-fiving yourself through this. Okay. This is just a dot on the map of your life. You will get through this. Your life will get better. And you will look back on this moment 10 years from now. And you will see the reason why you were feeling low. It was preparing you. It was giving you wisdom. It was giving you strength. You are strong enough to get through this, period.
I
believe that. Now it's your turn to believe it.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
I appreciate you.
I love you, Heidi. I can't wait for us to hang out in person.
I know. It's going to be soon. I love you too. Tell Chris I said hi.
I absolutely will. Tell Dave I said hi. And everybody, get in the challenge. It's pinned in the link. And high five, baby.
Yes. Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here with us. She's amazing. Join the challenge. Get the book. You're not going to regret it. Bye, guys.